Nashville, Tennessee, it's theTHREE with the Studio C band. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura Harris-Smith and welcome to theTHREE, where we are in Belfast, Ireland today as part of our UK tour this month. This is the home of Harland and Wolff shipyard where the Titanic was built. It took 2 years and 3,000 men to build the Titanic, one of which was my grandfather. And for the first time ever, I am setting foot on Irish soil today to walk where he walked and worked as a 20th century Irish machinist. Now, you're familiar with the Titanic probably because of the 1997 James Cameron movie featuring Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's in the top 3 grossing films of all times. But you may have never thought about what Titanic's message has to do with you and how it can still speak to you today in your everyday choices, body, mind, and spirit. I'm excited to talk to you all about that. And we're actually going to be staying at the Titanic Hotel, the very site of the ship's building. It's a phenomenal hotel. So first we have to get there. So let's grab a taxi and get out of the airport. Leslie, now you were kind to drive us from the airport. I want you to tell us where you've taken us. Where are we right now?
I've just collected this from Belfast International Airport and you're now at the Titanic Hotel right beside the Titanic exhibition here in Belfast. And I was just explaining that I'm taxiing Belfast 30 years. And once I had a gentleman in the car, an American man in his early 70s who spoke very with a bit of authority. He wrote 3 books on the Titanic.
Wow. And
I said to the fella, I wouldn't profess to know a lot about it, but in history, there's got to be a bigger loss of life with a man more than what actually happened to the Titanic. He says, interestingly, he says, we've often had this conversation with different colleagues, and what has transpired is apparently there was 47 different nationalities on the Titanic when it actually sank. So they reckon that's why it made headlines throughout the world. So that's what they put it down to, yes. But who knows?
Yeah, so you were saying that there's been so many other tragic events in history where there were even greater losses of life. What was it about Titanic that made it so memorable, and movies and everything else about it? And you're saying for that reason, because there were 47 nationalities.
As I say, according to this guy, this is what he was saying. That's what they put it down to, that there was 47 different nationalities on the Titanic. That was people who worked on it and people who were obviously on holiday or using it for the first time, obviously. You know?
And you say that these are the same exact?
Yeah, the dimensions of the corners of this building are the exact size of the bow of the Titanic. If the Titanic was actually parked here in water, that's what you'd be looking at. That is the size of the bow, the dimensions.
I had no idea.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Now, that is only that then. If you imagine putting the stacks on top of that, there was 4 stacks in the Titanic.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd think of the height. That's massive.
That's massive. That's a massive.
Massive.
It is.
Wow.
Well, thank you explaining that to me about the 47 age. I like the way you say it better, 47 or however 47. I don't know how you said it. It was much better than mine. We're here at the Titanic Hotel in Belfast, Ireland, and I am here with the head concierge. This is Z, the famous Z. Thanks for talking with us today, Z.
Absolutely welcome. I hope you're enjoying around here, Belfast.
Yes, we are. And you have taught us so many things about the hotel, and you're about to show us a few more things. You said you wanted to start for this particular tour in a certain area. Tell us where we're about to go.
We're going to start straight from the original entrance of Harland and Wolff, which is just right behind us straight away. We'll go through that door.
Okay. Let's go see the original entrance to Harland and Wolff, which is where the Titanic was built. Let's go right here. Beautiful.
At the minute, you're standing in the original entrance of Harland and Wolff, which is dated part of it back to the 1800s. That's the original entrance, have the original logo of Harland and Wolff. That one is still in very good condition for few many reasons. One of them, it's the only people who are allowed to get through that door is the director of the company, which is later on I'm going to take you for a tour through all the director offices just right behind us. So people are allowed to get through here, director of the company, or if you're planning to buy your own cruise ship, And the rest of the staff, they have another entrance to get through. So still that one is a very, very good condition. And I can show you now it's working.
And so it wasn't the workers on the shipyard that would go through this door, correct?
Correct.
These were the suits that came through the door.
Absolutely. And if any of the staff who work in the shipyard, he have been caught passing through that door, he will get fined.
Oh, okay. So these people that came through this door built the ship with a desk.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Take us to where the next step would be.
Right. We can start from here. This is the telephone exchange. This is the place where I received the SOS from the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Right. And then I received it in the midnight. All right. So there is lots of things here is still the original from back the days. What stuff you're looking at? The white tile. Right. The original windows. That's still the original. So they changed a few things in here in the telephone exchange, which is the replica tile we used to use in the Olympic and the Titanic. That's the one. But for now, we use it for like conferences or private meeting or anything.
Okay. Tell me where we are and what took place in here.
You are in the Drone Office 1, built in 1886. They built it as similar, we call it here in Northern Ireland, conservatory, which is use as much as you can natural light. Right, so if you walk from this main door, all the architect and engineer or draftman will be facing actually the shipyard. They will not be looking at the door because they don't want to get them distracted by the people walking through the door. So they will see them all facing this way. That's the Drone Office 1.
All right. Where would you like to take us next?
I would love to show you the first launch of the Titanic, which is that was the 31st of May 1911, before she goes to Thompson Dock, to dry dock. And after that, I'll show you a few more secrets. Okay.
Let's go. All right. So tell us what this is about.
Okay, that's exactly the Titanic. And when she's leaving from the Hollywood side, you know, just up here in Belfast, she's leaving out to Liverpool. And then we talk about the funnel, which is, I say to you, let me show you the funnel, the fake one, which is, that's the back one. So primary, secondary, and the backup. And as you've seen, exactly. And then number 4, there's no smoke.
The faux funnel.
That's right. But back in the days, this is the room where we do all the meetings and all the money and the negotiation and everything to do with any cruise ship. So we're sitting with one of the original safe.
Wow. This is one of the original safes.
Exactly. And this
Do you have any gifts for us inside? Anything left inside?
secret what I want to show you, okay? This is part of the safe, 1 and 2. You will get yourself a gift if you can figure out what's inside the 2. By the way, there is no one know what's inside this 2. They've never been opened since 1900, and there is no keys for them. So this one and this one has never been opened.
Oh, so there may be something inside.
I will highly recommend for you to do something tomorrow.
Okay. Beautiful. So this looked like
Some of the
a
rooms.
room on the Titanic.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, you got this is a little scene also of Titanic. You got this lamp here, they made especially from the hotel itself. So that used to be back in the days in the Titanic. It's like gasoline. Now we have the Malay.
Yes.
18th century. And then it's a matching because back in the days there used to be 2 strings in here. You just pull it up and down, but that's been made specially for the hotel itself. Mirror is the same. Back in the days, they will have this as an aluminium rivet. Again, 19th century. Wood.
Okay. Right. My goodness, we're right across from Goliath and Samson.
What did you ask for?
Yeah, and you can call him. If he loves the crane, just set your phone right here.
Yes.
And then you can call him and you get the Wi-Fi in.
Man, you can't get a better view than that.
Right.
Wow.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to make that important call and take you to the world-famous Belfast Titanic experience. Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain sleep eye mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, 1 Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, 1 Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain. We are here, as promised, at the glorious Titanic Hotel in Belfast, Ireland, which is located directly on the site where the ship was built in the early 1900s. And when we got here, we told them that I was the granddaughter of one of the machinists, one of the builders of the ship, and they just rolled out the red carpet. I mean, they took us all over the place, and it's just been wonderful. They put us in a great room, and you can see the room. It's almost like a replica of the rooms on the ship. However, obviously there's been updates in technology. The lights are no longer gas. They have electricity, that kind of thing. But it's pretty close, and it's just been a really cool experience just being in here. But the best part is that we got into the room, and the view was something that I'd long heard about, and something that you probably don't care about unless you're related to someone who helped build the Titanic, and that is the 2 famous cranes. It took a massive amount of strength to lift this tonnage, and the cranes were named appropriately with biblical names that imply strength. And I've heard about these cranes really for so long that when I walked into the room and I saw them right across, I just about cried. So I did cry. We're about to make a phone call we're gonna FaceTime my stepdad and let him see them. And in his own way, I know he's going to be overwhelmed. So actually take a look. This is what he's going to see. And these are the big cranes. And the big one is Goliath. The smaller one is Samson. We're in the Harlan Wolff shipyard. And they say that the Goliath, you know, he got that name. He's the biggest one, but it's okay because Samson got all the ladies, even though he's the smaller one. So yeah, we're gonna make that phone call and I guess BRB. And this is gonna be David Fryer that you're gonna see here in any minute. And there he is. Hi.
Howdy.
Tilt the phone down so that I can see your mouth. There you are. I want to give you a big smooch.
Here I is, and there you are.
Here I am.
Plain as the nose on my face.
As plain as the Irish nose on your face. Well, I have something that I want to show you. You know, we're at the Titanic, and we are actually staying in the hotel that is on the property, on the Harlan and Wolff property. And look here. I want you to see what's out just outside of the window there.
Wow.
Do you know what those are?
Cranes.
Those are the cranes. Do you remember what their names are?
Yeah.
I believe the bigger one is Goliath. Is that correct? And the smaller one is Samson.
Yeah.
So legend says. The Titanic exhibit, we're going to be going there, and it's called the Titanic Experience. And
Wow.
it really is an experience. A lot of other things that you can do there to experience what it was like to be on the Titanic, and you actually get to walk the shipyard, and they just give you all types of things to try to experience what it was like to be on board that night. So we are going to take you and the viewer on a little bit of that tour, and so we will show it to you.
Great.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right.
I can hardly wait.
Well, I miss you very, very much.
You look so pretty.
Aw, you're sweet.
Love you.
I love you lots and lots. Well, we're here in between the Titanic Hotel and the Titanic Experience, and it's so true. The Titanic is indeed a tragic piece of our nation's history, but also of world history. Because there were so many nations represented on board, it truly was like a floating United Nations. So listen to these Titanic facts. They're absolutely fascinating, so take a look. We're heading into the impressive Titanic Belfast Experience. Let's get going. Our first port of call is booming Belfast. We're being taken back in time to 100 years ago. The city was very industrial back then, with linen, rope making, and of course shipbuilding, employing lots of people. Look at this, an interactive blueprint of the Titanic that you can jump into. Wow, now I'm standing in what must be the world's largest shadow. And I may well be right, as this was apparently the world's largest crane. It was actually used to build the Titanic. There's even an elevator inside the crane. They seem to have put a fairground type ride in the shipyard, and I'm guessing this wasn't typical in 1912. Here we go.
And the constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stone deaf, so they did.
Well, that was an experience for the senses. You can actually smell the steel and see and hear the metal burning and hear the clanging in the shipyard. Now here's the daylight. These big windows look right out into the field where the Titanic was built and launched. This was where it happened. It was the largest man-made object ever moved. And considering that, I know I shouldn't be surprised it's big, but I have to say it is really big. We're back to exploring, and now we're inside the ship. And here are the first-class cabins, very snazzy, even with hologram-type passengers. And even with second and third-class cabins, they were great. They even had running water. Now the building's just showing off. Look at this tour. You're standing in the middle of the room, and amazingly, you're being transported through the ship's levels. I love these old photographs. They're originals from the maiden voyage. The atmosphere has changed now. I'm being taken back to the fateful night of the sinking. Even the air in here has gone cooler. Let's just take it all in. And here's a full list of all Titanic's passengers and crew. I wonder what my grandfather felt when he got the news the next morning that the ship he'd spent years of his life building had sunk. Look at all these Titanic movies. Okay, hold your breath. We're going under 2.5 miles below sea level to the Titanic's final resting place. And that's not all. Below the theater is their ocean exploration station. Well, that's it with our Titanic Belfast Experience Tour. And when we come back,
Pastor Chris Smith, my husband, is going to join me as we discuss what you can learn from Titanic for your life today.
Hi, Laura Harris Smith here, and you know by now that it's a passion of mine to see people get healthy body, mind, and spirit. As a nutritionist and as someone who almost lost her life due to a lack of proper sleep, I'm convinced that sleep is the most important but the least emphasized puzzle piece for total body health. I created my Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend to offer support to sufferers of migraine, tremor, PTSD, anxiety, seizures, and more. But one of the most frequent testimonies we get from all over the world is that it helps with insomnia. People are sleeping better with Quiet Brain. But my other passion is helping people hear God's voice, not just during the day while awake, but also at night while they sleep and dream. And that's why I wrote Seeing the Voice of God, what God is telling you through dreams and visions. And now my two worlds, that is author and inventor, really come together on this topic of sleep and dreams through my Sweet Dreams package. You get one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain, which is comprised of lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more, and a copy of Seeing the Voice of God, complete with a 1,000 symbol dream dictionary for interpreting your dreams, and instructions on which vitamins and minerals to help you better remember your dreams. Sleep is the mattress of dreams, so grab this offer while it's still available. One copy of Seeing the Voice of God and one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain for easy application. And, while supplies last, a free Quiet Brain satin sleep eye mask. So take back your sleep with Quiet Brain and take back your dreams with Seeing the Voice of God. Order today at quietbrainoil.com. Hi everyone, welcome back to The Three. I'm Laura Harris Smith, and this is my husband, Pastor Chris Smith. He's been on The Three before in season 1, but I just wanted to invite you in because as we've been processing today, and out of all the UK episodes that we're doing, this has been really emotional for me. This has been a really emotional trip.
Sure.
Getting to be where my grandfather was and getting to pipe in my stepdad and have him
Sure.
see where he walked and worked building the Titanic. I don't have many memories of my grandfather, this Irish brogue that he had. He lost his powers of speech. But anyway, it's just been so surreal to be here. And so as we've processed a lot and are just back at the hotel now, what a day, we had 4 takeaways, things that we really felt like could apply to our life, and we really hope that you will apply them to yours, about this Titanic experience. And the number one is that these people were not prepared. Everyone thought the Titanic was unsinkable. They needed 2,200 lifeboat seats on board, and they only had 1,100 and something. That was less than half. And the lifeboats could have held 64 people, and the first one that left only had 28 in it. And several did that. There were 472 unused lifeboat seats, rescue
They really
boat
didn't
seats.
think they needed them.
No. No, they didn't.
But it made me think of Matthew's Gospel, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus said, the wise man builds his house upon the rock. He's prepared. He knows that difficult or challenging things or calamity can come in this life, and you have to have your house built upon the rock.
That's so true. And the wise man also listens to counsel. The Bible says there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. And that's the second thing that they didn't do, was that they ignored a warning. There were evidently 6 transmissions that came in, and the transmission operator was preoccupied sending messengers for passengers. I guess that was like the social media of the day. Hey, I'm on the Titanic, and they were sending all of these messages, and he didn't hear the 6 warnings about the iceberg.
Tragic.
Can you believe that? And
How often do we do that in life?
well, so often, but that's because of the number 3, because they were distracted.
Right.
And again, back to the whole transmission thing.
Right.
There were so many warnings, but they were doing other things, and they were distracted. So, guilty. I get distracted a lot.
It's easy to do.
Yes, and hopefully with good things, but I don't want good things. I want God things.
That's right.
So, and then number 4 was you blew me away when you said this, and that is that they just had put their faith in something man-made.
Well,
Because we kind of have to do that, don't we?
Well, we do it every day. We put our faith in our relationships. We put our faith in our bank accounts,
Right.
our automobiles, airplanes. It's just a natural part of life. But we have to have as we said earlier, we have to have our life founded on something more solid, even in things that are man-made that we put our trust in.
Absolutely.
Got to be founded on Jesus.
Well, I just wanted to speak for just a moment to those people who maybe you have been a part of something that failed, that tanked, and it brings on this feeling of failure. As I walked where my grandfather walked this last week, I started thinking about how he must have felt so proud to be a part of building the Titanic and telling all of his friends and then moving to America and all of that. And then it went from that to, oh, I helped build the Titanic, you know, and you couldn't even tell anybody in school. Decades ago, I remember as a girl telling people, my grandfather helped build the Titanic, and they would say, oh, he must not have done good work. So, you know, you understand where I'm going with this. If you've been a part of a church that failed, or a business that failed, a marriage that failed, anything, I just speak over you, no condemnation. There's none in Christ Jesus, and that He has a plan for your life. And when you find your sweet spot, you will not fail, and you will not be distracted. You will not ignore counsel. You will be prepared.
That's right.
But we do have to ask ourselves, you know, what is your iceberg? Because we all have one. And they're not always so easily seen. This one wasn't that night. Evidently, it was only as tall as the hull, you know, the bridge of the boat. It wasn't that big. And because the water was so still, because there was no moon, all the ingredients were perfect. You couldn't see, there was no ripples in the water. You couldn't see it coming. And it doesn't have to be a big thing in your life. It can be something tiny. Again, relating it back to this, evidently the hole was only 12 feet wide that sunk that ship, 240 feet worth of damage. But the hole was only as wide as a refrigerator, evidently, like long ways. It wasn't that wide at all.
It's still pretty big, but that was a big ship.
Yes, well, exactly. But sometimes you just don't see something coming. And what is the best cure for someone to not get distracted, to be able to take counsel, to see things coming? What's the best environment that they can do that in?
Boy, they can come to Eastgate Korean Christian Fellowship.
The local church. And of course, this pastor is going to plug our church. So yes, absolutely. Go to the address. We'll put it up on the screen here. Well, it's eastgateccf.com. Come see us any Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. We would love to have you. The body of Christ around you, on board with you, is the best way to avoid icebergs and sinking. Having something, you know, massively go wrong in your life, because people are looking out for you. So.
Church is life support when times do get difficult.
Thank you for being on this journey with me this month. We got one more week to go, and next week we are in Scotland. So you don't want to miss that. Come on back next time, guys. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. Enjoyed this episode with you in Belfast, Ireland. We'll see you next time on The Three. Bye-bye.